Hello and welcome to fire signs being Aries, Leo and Sagittarius. Welcome to your week ahead TarotScopes with me, Intuitive Rene. We are doing the week of the 17th to the 23rd of July 2023 using these two awesome decks. This is a brand new one to my collection. It arrived this week and I am absolutely loving it. So of course it was an absolute no-brainer that I was going to use it this week, and I am partnering it with the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle deck. So because this might hurt, this deck speaks a truth. You know, it doesn't mince its words. It goes straight to the heart of the situation. So I thought, that's obviously going to be the theme for the reading this week. So that's why I thought I would partner it with the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle deck. So let's get these boxes out of the way. I have the cards well positioned below so that we get what we need. We're going to start with the Oracle and then we will do the Tarot. So I'm just going to shift the Tarot out of the way a little bit. So fire signs, Aries, Leo and Sag. The week of 17th to the 23rd of July 2023. What is the energy of the week ahead? What is the theme for the week ahead? What is the main activities or things that you may be navigating or dealing with for the week ahead? So we're asking from the Oracle, from the Believe in Your Own Magic, what is the one thing that you need to be mindful of, aware of, conscious of this week, that's going to be taking up some of your energy and some of your time. So let's have a look and see which card we've got. Aren't these backs just so pretty? Okay, so card 31, and it is the card of the universe, and it says, we are all just stardust. I love that. You know, I am officially attempting to study astrology this year, and it has been, gosh, quite the eye-opener. I thought I knew a lot and apparently I don't. One thing that it has taught me is that we are just stardust, because in the bigger scheme of things, when you look at everything holistically, we are just so insignificant. We are just such a tiny speck in the bigger cosmos, in the bigger picture, in the bigger scheme of things. And when you start looking at how everything fits in, I'm going to shuffle the tarot while I'm chatting. When you see how everything fits in, when you see how one thing that you do, the impact that it has on somebody else, it's actually quite mind-blowing, because suddenly everything comes into perspective. And as much as you realize how insignificant you are, you also realize how incredibly significant you are, because everything is connected. So when we have the card of stardust and saying that we are all just stardust, that also puts things into perspective of realizing or recognizing that you are no different to anybody else, that even though somebody else's experience is completely different from yours, and even though somebody else might be having a completely different reality, their opinions, their thoughts, their ideals may be completely different to yours, but they're still stardust. You're stardust. So we are all the same but different. I love that. That was something that my dad used to say a lot. Same but different, And yeah, we are all the same, but we are all different. We all are made of the same stuff, but our perceptions, perspectives, and our realities are all so vastly different. And you know what? That's okay. So the universe is talking to us this week, fire signs, and the universe is saying we need to be cognizant, we need to be aware of the bigger picture. We need to be aware of how every little thing that we do, as insignificant as it may be, the impact, the impact that it has on the rest of the world. So this is just me really being a bad shuffler. That's these cards are quite glossy and quite slippery. So you know me, I don't take jumpers, because I know it's just my bad shuffling, especially when I do overhand shuffle like this. All right, fire signs. Let's cut this deck. Let's lay out some cards and see the message that the universe has. I'm going to have to try and squeeze, because I want to get as many cards in as possible. So we've got the Ace of Swords, we've got 10 of Pentacles, we have got the 2 of Swords, and I should fit one more in there. Yay, my planning worked. And the Justice. Oh, that's interesting. Right, putting the tarot aside, let's straighten up everybody and let's have a look. So, the universe. We are all just stardust, putting things into perspective, understanding that a little thing that you do does have, can have, will have a huge significance on somebody else's life, on your own life, but also understanding that we are so tiny in the bigger scheme of things. But even as small as we are all equally important, equally significant. But there is just so much more going on. And if we fixate on our own little existence, we lose sight of the bigger picture. We've got the Ace of Swords coming through first. Ace of Swords is about new ideas, new thought processes, and that's exactly what we're talking about here. It's about putting things into perspective. It's about seeing how important, how insignificant you are in the bigger scheme of things. We then have the legacy card, okay? Ten of Pentacles is the card of legacy. Like one day when you return to Stardust, one day when your earthly experience is over and you return to Stardust, how will you be remembered? What is the legacy that you are leaving behind? What is the one thing that people are going to think about you or say about you? Are they going to say how kind and generous you were? Are they going to say how nasty and cold-hearted you were? Are they going to say that, gosh, you made so much money and you did so much for other people? What is your legacy that you leave behind when you return to Stardust? So we have to put things into perspective. We have to start seeing things a little bit differently. We've got to start thinking of the bigger picture, which is exactly what that Ten of Pentacles is saying. Every day we go through life and life becomes a little bit repetitive. Every day you wake up, you do the same kind of things, you have your routine, and there's nothing wrong with routine, except that sometimes we can get so comfortable in our routine that we actually forget the plan, we actually forget the goals, we forget the strategy. So Ten of Pentacles is reminding you, do you have everything in place as far as your overall life perspective goes? Even though you are just Stardust, you came into this world as a Stardust and you will leave as Stardust. But what is it that you're achieving, accomplishing on the way? Two of Swords is an interesting one, and I'm actually going to bring the Justice card in with that as well, because look at the Two of Swords. You can see that she's got a blindfold on. What does it mean if you have a blindfold on? If you have a blindfold on, it means you cannot see what is directly in front of you. Is that because A, she chooses not to see, or B, because somebody's put the blindfold on her and she doesn't have a choice, or because she wants to use her other senses to see what's going on around her? So we don't really know what's going on, but the fact that everything looks a little bit in the dark, there looks like there's light shining on her face because she's illuminated, whereas the background seems to be a little bit dark and hazy. The background is actually water. Let me see if I can bring it through and show you. Okay, so you can see we've got some rocks, we've got choppy waters, we've got a little bit of land at the back there with some beautiful fiery orange trees, but everything's like a little bit all over the place. The waters are choppy, and if you've ever stood at the water's edge and the waters are choppy, you feel that energy in the air. You feel that energy, that like kind of, I almost want to call it chaotic kind of energy. So she knows that something's going on. She's sensing it. If we look at her body language, she's got her arms crossed, okay, over her chest, over her heart. Her heart is her most vulnerable thing, and her heart is also the thing that keeps life in her body, because without the heart we die, we cease to exist. So she is protecting her most vulnerable part of herself, but she's also in a defensive pose with her arms crossed, but she's got a sword in each hand. Even though it's a little sword, she's got a sword in each hand, which tells you she can defend herself if she needs to, but she doesn't know what she's defending herself against. So this is the card of saying to you that you don't know what's right in front of you, whether it's because you choose not to look, or whether it is because you're forced not to look, or whether it is that you are trusting your other senses. That is different for everybody. But the Two of Swords is definitely saying that you don't know what's happening right around you. You're not aware of your surroundings. You are ready to attack, you are ready to fight should the need arise, but you're more in the kind of thing of protection, because you don't know what you're facing. So bringing that into the rest of it, we've got the Ace of Swords, which is telling us about new ideas, new ways of thinking, new thought strategies, understanding the bigger picture. We've got the legacy card of the Ten of Pentacles saying to you, what truly matters at the end of the day, is it the bank balance that you want to be remembered for? Is it the kindness that you want to be remembered for? Is it the actions that you did? Maybe the charity that you gave? What is it? What is your legacy that you want to leave behind, that you are leaving behind? And check to see that the legacy that you are leaving behind is actually what you think you're leaving behind, because maybe that can be quite different. But it is time to be honest with yourself, and that's what the Two of Swords is saying to you, to see that you are just stardust, to see that everybody is just stardust. Nobody is different to anybody else. Everybody is battling their own battles. Everybody is going through their own challenges. We're all trying to leave a positive legacy. Well, at least I hope so. But we need to put things into perspective. And this week is important for you to get on track with your own legacy, with your own truth. So the Two of Swords is about opening your eyes and seeing what is right in front of you. Now, let's bring justice, because, you know, we all understand the word justice. But do we? Because again, justice can be a relative term. What I think is justice, what you think is justice, and then what the law thinks is justice might not be the same thing. So justice could bring about karma, but justice is about, you know, you will be held accountable for your actions and your behaviors. So that brings us back to the Ten of Pentacles, the legacy card, and it also brings us back to the fact that we are all just stardust. Because at the end of the day, we are all exactly the same. We are made of flesh and blood. We have been put on this earth to learn lessons, to have experiences, to become better versions of ourselves, to become better human beings, to become better stardust. Okay? So the Justice card is telling you that you will always be judged. You will always be held accountable. You will always have to face up to the things that you have to face up to. There is no avoiding that. The Justice card is also telling you that if you do good, good will come your way. If you do bad, bad will come your way. And if you choose to ignore, you're leaving it up to karma. And sometimes that's okay, sometimes it's not. But the universe is telling you this week, fire signs, this week of the 17th to the 23rd of July, it is important for us to put our lives into perspective this week, to become cognizant, to become aware of what it is that we're actually doing, where it is that we're actually heading, where it is that we're actually going, and what it is that truly matters. It's time for us to be honest with ourselves around the legacy that we're leaving, honest with ourselves around what we're seeing, and also understanding, deciding, acting on whether it is right or wrong, whether it is in line with what you want. But it is a week for new thoughts, for new beginnings, for new ideas, for new strategy. And nobody's going to do that for you except you. So take the time, fire signs. Take the time to think about your life, putting it all into perspective and asking yourself, when you return to stardust, what is your life going to be about? What would your story be? And is that the story that you want to leave? And if the answer is no, if the answer is that you're not happy with that story, that you're not happy with that legacy that you're leaving, if the truth causes you a little bit of pain and discomfort, it's not too late to make changes. And it all happens by changing your mindset, by changing your thinking, and then the rest flows. But make sure that what you're working towards is the legacy that you want to leave behind. Fire signs, interesting week for you. I do think it's going to be quite the eye-opening experience. I do wish you well. I do hope that it is a good one for you, and I hope that this is an easy exercise, experience, and thought process for you. And I hope that you're not disappointed with the legacy and the path that you're on. And I hope the adjustment to get you back on track is easy, simple, and uncomplicated. Thank you for being with me today, as always. With love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care.